it being a holiday, it's better, it's regular pay, so.
If we were able to precisely gauge how much productivity an employee had over the course of a year, and then you give them one holiday, so therefore now you gotta pay overtime to cover that one day, then it would cost more money. But since we can't be so precise, and people just make it out, you know, I mean, then there's no additional cash outlay. They're just not showing up that day. You see what I'm saying? They're still getting paid whether they're here or they're not here.
We'll save some money from having the lights turned off.
I guess you get it.
To me, it just, I'm not opposed to it, I'm just trying to understand it, I guess. If it's me, if you have a holiday, somebody wants to take off, somebody has to work to fill that.
But the city hall will be closed, so, right?
Yeah, but
City hall is closed. But that's where...
Correct, but you leave that to department heads to manage. They never allow themselves to drop below minimum staffing. Like we have, our guys work 122 days a year, and their leave accrual across the entire department is only about that much over 365 days. So we just schedule leave. We don't ever allow more than one to take off, so it never is a cause of overtime. We maintain 3 constant 4 per shift, so we can let one off and we're still good, and I assume PD is the same, right?
That's a year.
Well, but we work 24 hours. 40 hours a year more than a 40-hour employee. They work 56 hours a week on average to the 40-hour employee, so I won't get into that argument.
Y'all go outside, don't you?
I'll take him out for a donut later.
So you're gonna have to help him get a cat out of the tree now. Brent, you had a question.
So I guess I'm confused on why this would affect anybody if everybody's working the 4.5 days. I understand it could affect...
Everybody's not working the 4.5 days.
So why, I guess that's another question, why are people not working 4.5 days?
Well, because one, to keep the garbage going like we wanted it 5 days a week, those guys are 8 hours, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. City Hall is 4.5 days, and the water department is 4.5 back there. The street department is 4 10-hour days because they work with Tarrant County and doing these streets. So they have to work alongside of them, so that's why they work 10-hour shifts. Now, police and fire would have to say how their part works, but that's how this part works over here.
So then what is...
24 hours.
So the whole, what is Public Works besides the road and water, where do they work?
We have part of them that works on, we have 6 people that come in that work 4 9-hour days and a 4-hour day.
Yeah.
They coincide with the city hall. And those employees, the street sweeper and the garbage truck drivers and the water department personnel all work that half-day Fridays. The street department works the 4 days, Monday through Thursday, to be with Tarrant County. The water treatment plant, it works 10-hour shifts.
And then this would only affect those individuals, the 10-hour, the street crew and the water department.
Well, it affects everybody. If they have a 9-hour shift, they get paid for 9 hours, just like they would if they were working. If they're a 10-hour shift, they'll get paid 10 hours. If they're 12, they're going to pay 12. So whatever their shift day is what they'll get paid in holiday.
So like with a police officer, works a 12-hour shift. If it's a holiday on his 12-hour shift, he'll get paid his regular pay working, and then that other 12 hours from the holiday will go into a bank that he can use later.
Like a floating holiday.
Like a holiday, a vacation day.
Whereas in the past, what we were doing is paying them double time.
Double, the holiday plus.
We're trying to get away from that.
It actually ends up being a savings
be a
About
safety
making a
thing,
leave bank.
what we've been doing all these years.
But if they're not working on, if they're not scheduled to work on that day, that's not extra time for them.
They get a replacement
They all
holiday.
No,
They're all gonna accrue it, though.
Yeah,
They all accrue the time.
they'll accrue it because it's still, we've got 13 holidays listed.
Still puts time on the books.
Correct. For the 24-hour operations, it does, yes. The others are just off on the holiday.
So there's two things going on here. There's cleaning up the shift pay thing, and then there's an additional holiday. Is that
yes,
right, Marvin?
there's two different things, so
Okay.
I really wish we could clean up the shift thing, for sure. If you don't want the holiday, we'll have to go back and revise those numbers, but we will.
Well, I think the holiday, I mean, more and more places, since it became a federal holiday, like you said, more and more places are adding it. So I think it's gonna get to a point where people are used to stuff being closed on federal holidays anyway, so.
Well, but I mean, the post office has always been off more than regular people.
But we still wouldn't get all the days that the state even gets, for instance. that,
Right.
LBJ's birthday.
I do think though, if we do this one, that's 3. I mean, who knows what next year brings,
Yeah.
or what other holidays they're gonna come up with. So
Well,
at some point, we're
naming
gonna,
holidays, I know.
What's that?
At the rate they're naming holidays these days.
Right.
You know, they're gonna,
I mean, at some point, we're gonna have to tap out, I think.
I think we're tapped out right now.
I was gonna ask for Marvin Gregory's birthday.
Well, most cities that I'm aware of now have Martin Luther King Day, and a lot of them have Columbus Day, and those are the two that are left off here. So I don't feel like they're trying to add every single thing they could. So I think adding one more regular one is perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, but like, some of those wouldn't have Good Friday. I mean, I think there's some trade-off between, like, those days you just mentioned, and like a Good Friday day, or day after Thanksgiving or something.
So I think a long time ago, we had a motion. Is there a second on this?
Well, somebody talk
I will second it.
about what the issue is with it.
I think that people just don't really understand what's going on.
With the shift pay stuff.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
Yes, it is, it's very confusing, but it's shift-based, that's all it is.
But all the things they've said, sounds like they're managing their overtime, they're trying to, using that bank instead of just paying double time like we used to, at least in some of the departments. So all those are really positives.
I think that's a huge positive. When we're not, I mean, that double time pay adds up really fast. And I personally don't think it's necessary. I mean, if you are working a job and your hours fall on that day, then your hours fall on that day and you work it. I'm sorry, but I agree. We need to.
But see, under the other policy, like today for Veterans Day, if they work 10, we had to pay them 10 more.
Right.
Yep. No, that's the thing, so this makes,
That's why we want to do it this way, so we'll cut out all that.
it makes sense, it gives them the equal number of holidays, but it saves us the double pay.
But for clarity, y'all were already doing your thing. This is fixing this.
The FD's been doing this since its inception as a full-time department. The PD is the one that was doing pay for those on duty. They were getting essentially double hours.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
And that's what Marvin's cleaning up.
Right.
He's basically taking the PD to the same thing we're already doing in the FD, where they have a holiday bank that accrues, and they use it as they want to take days off versus getting paid.
Do your departments manage that individually, or does that come through central office?
It's on they know how many hours they've got on their paycheck, and they take it just like a vacation day.
Okay, so it is through our normal.
Yeah, and then
On your
September,
check.
no, and then September 30th, if we're not in the middle of the pay period, once we end the pay period, if they have hours on the books for holidays, they're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I assure you that they know that, and they don't let them.
On your paycheck, it's got